Sometimes the irony of trying to write a theme song for a show called This Will Never Work gets the best of you, and, well, it sucks. So, welcome.
Welcome to This Will Never Work. I'm Lincoln. Now, today, my guest is, we've been friends for a while, and you know what? I love this guy. He's a musician. He's an all-around artist. He's a comic book author.
Yes.
Author.
Yeah.
He's this guy knows more about sci-fi than I will ever dream to know in my entire life. And in some of the conversations we've had in the past, and like music video conceptualizations that we've talked about, some of the shit we've come up with is just fucking beautiful. And I hope someday we make it happen. But I'd like to welcome to the podcast Michael Hill, Mr. Spetembryo.
Mr. September. I'm a calendar boy.
And you know what's awesome is we're doing this instead because your birthday's in September.
Yeah.
So when is your birthday?
September 8th.
Oh, it is September 8th.
Yeah.
Did I wish you a happy birthday?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Well, happy
And
birthday
it really
again.
meant something.
Fair enough. But no, I'm also glad we're still recording this in September. It's not going to come out till October because we're here to talk about Halloween.
Whoop, whoop.
Not September. But yeah, no, I'm very happy to have you here, Mr. Spetembryo.
I'm happy to be here. This is awesome.
Give me briefly the lowdown on the name.
So Spetembryo, it does come from my birth month, and my stage name is Michael 8. So September 8th, it kind of all revolves around my birthday. And in the first album, the theme was "You Were Born for a Reason." It's also the theme of the comic.
Right.
And you know, Spetembryo, the music and comics, dives heavily into like paranormal themes, which include the afterlife, the before life, you know, kind of things that suggest that we're more than just our bodies now, and the universe is more weird and beautiful than just what is currently accepted.
It's a flesh suit.
Yeah, so it kind of ties into that concept that there's more going on behind the scenes. There's meaning behind everything, and there's meaning behind you. And so you're here for a reason. I think if I could put one thing out there, if people believe that they're here for a purpose, they're going to live more fulfilling lives. And that's whether or not you discover a purpose or you invent it. It really doesn't matter. So.
Okay, so that's what Spetembryo means to you.
Yeah, so I was born for a reason. That's to create the music that I'm doing. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just and it is like the combination of like September and embryo.
Yeah.
Got you.
Even though that's not medically accurate. I was not an embryo in September.
No, but I mean in science fiction, like the embryo thing is like,
yeah, it's just the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I should note, because in the intro you said that I'm like a sci-fi expert, and I'm really into sci-fi, but I'd say more.
Did I use the word expert? I thought I said that you know more about it than I do.
You also said I was very
You're
charming
handsome?
and good looking, which I'll accept those things.
You are handsome.
But I denounce the expert label.
Okay.
I would argue more paranormal.
Oh, okay.
Sci-fi, I'm less. You might be more knowledgeable about sci-fi in general, but when it comes to paranormal stuff,
I really doubt it.
I'm way more in that. Yeah.
You know what? You probably know more about both. We'll figure it. We'll figure it out by the end of this. By the end of this show. Really paranormal, hey?
Yeah, paranormal.
So what about I guess and like listening to your music and having read a little bit of the comic books, I still need to dive into them more. But I guess, the paranormal does play a little bit more of a...
Yeah, there's some overlap with sci-fi and paranormal, especially paranormal fiction and all that. But I'm always have been into the real life paranormal. So like, you know, like Roswell and haunted places, just anything like that. I've been... back to the word expert. They say you're an expert in anything if you've been reading about a subject for like 7 years or something like that.
Okay.
Let's just say that number.
Okay.
So I've been reading about the paranormal for
Let's
as
call
long...
it 8 years.
Yeah. I've been reading about the paranormal like since I could read, you know, since I could discover books and read them. So it's like it's always been one of my main interests. When I was a kid, I used to say, when I grow up, I'm going to be a singer or a UFO researcher. And then it's weird that those things have kind of like overlapped, and now I get to sing about UFOs and
It's not
random
weird
things.
though.
But
That's
it's
not
awesome.
weird at all, because I remember once when I was a kid, I think my grandmother asked me, she was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I responded honestly. I was like, "I want to be a Ghostbuster."
That's awesome.
And she responded honestly. She was like, "Kid, you gotta figure out a different career path. Like, you gotta be like, come on, be serious." And I mean, I love my grandmother and I love my parents, but it's dreams like that and like little, you know, it's little things like that we have as kids that we take with us into our future. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, I may not necessarily, like, I don't have to grow up and be a Ghostbuster. And I mean, when you're a kid, like, support the dreams of the children around you, because fuck it, they can turn. I mean, look at what people are doing nowadays. You can turn anything into a career. Yeah. I literally, like, I have, you know, like my entire left arm is Ghostbusters. And
exactly.
I mean, look around you. Like,
it's
there's
just
a lot of
building the life that you want. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I may not necessarily be a Ghostbuster, but like, fuck it, I got a proton pack on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
At any point, I can walk out of this room and I can bust ghosts with the best of them.
I got a proton pack at home. I found it at Value Village, like just like randomly, and I saw the pack, and I was like,
Is it the Spirit Halloween one?
No, it's like the legit one I had when I was a kid.
Oh, fuck.
So
like,
I found
the blue one.
The blue one, yeah.
Oh.
And I'm carrying it. I'm looking around. I'm like, where's the gun? Where's the gun? Where's the gun? And I see this little toddler carrying it. And so I'm just like following this toddler in Value Village, ready to just be like, but then he like got bored and put it down. And I was like, oh, and it was amazing.
Okay, but how much did you pay for it?
I think like $4 maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So good.
That's unreal. I know there's there's the Hillhurst Flea Market every Sunday.
Yeah.
And I've gone a few times. There's a guy there that has that proton pack in box.
Oh.
I don't know if it's brand new or if it's just put back in the box, but it is that proton pack, and he's asking $250 for it.
Oh, jeez.
Which, I mean, if I was ludicrously rich,
like
if money was no object,
yeah,
which I know I make it look like money is no object, but money, believe me, money is an object. I'd drop the money on 100%. That. I don't care. Because one thing people forget is you can't take it with you. You can't take money with you. You can't take any of your belongings. You can't take any of it with you. So, if I'm earning, you know, X amount of dollars, like, I'm going to spend X amount of dollars. And like, I don't have kids. I know you guys have kids, and what you're building is you want to build a legacy for them to carry on, of course. Mm-hmm. I have my nephew now. I have my goddaughter. Like, what I'm building will go to them. And I talked about this on the previous episode. What I'm building will go to them. But it's like, I'm also still going to spend my money and enjoy it while I'm alive.
Enjoy it while you can, yeah.
Because what's the point of having my money sit in a bank account doing nothing?
And for me, the thing that I want to leave my kids is an example that they can live the life that they want.
Totally.
You know, like, this is what I've always wanted to do, and this is my life. And you get to witness that firsthand. I think that's kind of a cool thing for someone to get, is to grow up with that instilled belief, like, oh yeah, that's possible. I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. So let's jump over to Halloween. So you have, I think by the time this airs, the song will be out.
Yeah. October 7th.
October 7th, the song comes out. I'm going to put the song at the very end of this episode so you can hear it. So stay to the end of the episode to listen to the entire song, or go to Spetembryo's Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music, Amazon,
all the places
to listen to VHS or
Violent Horror Stories.
What? So in reading your press release, I really like the sentiment that you have put forward, because you're right. There is a fuck ton of Christmas music out there. If you want to listen to Christmas music all year long and not really encounter the same, like,
recording,
twice,
you
could pretty much do it.
Yeah,
you could take a month off and then go back to Christmas music, and you could pretty much Like
So
there's no shortage of Christmas music. But you're right. When it comes to Halloween music,
Yeah.
every playlist has "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Yeah.
It has
Thriller,
Screaming Jay Hawkins,
Monster Mash.
I Put a Spell on You, Monster Mash,
And then it starts, like, after a while, it starts to get, like,
Michael Jackson.
they start
Thriller.
reaching.
Yeah,
you know, it's like Hungry Like the Wolf. Is that a Halloween song? I don't know. He mentions wolves, so throw it in.
Yep.
And then it just, like, it becomes very, like...
Rob Zombie's Dracula.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing... Yeah, there's nothing... There's no, like, Christmas, like, carols. Or the Halloween carols.
Yeah.
So, I know that's kind of not the vibe you've gone for in the song, but I do... really appreciate the fact that you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna release a new Halloween song every year.
Yeah.
So this is the second one.
This is the second one.
So the first one was 2020. This is
the first one. Yeah. What I have to double check the year. I had to skip the year. Last year there was some.
I remember you and I talked a little bit.
Yeah, the studio that I worked at, they take August off, and then, which is usually fine. But when he came back in September, when I would have done it, it was just like he had this backlog.
Yeah, there wasn't enough time.
We started working with this label. There was all this stuff, so it just didn't end up happening, which was fine.
So is VHS the song that was supposed to come out last
Yes.
year? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So it's not every year so far, but it's going to be my goal moving forward.
Yep.
And I'll probably nail it. So the first song was
I'll
called...
start writing it in fucking June.
Oh yeah, I have like 7 Halloween songs on the go.
Oh, fuck yeah.
They're all different genres. So the first one that was released is called The Fall, Scary Times. And
Yep.
it's kind of like your childhood Halloween. It's got like a Danny Elfman vibe
Yeah.
to it. And then this one is straight up 80s pop song, and it's all about 80s horror films or just classic films in general. But it's funny because I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so I knew about a lot of, Nightmare on Elm Street and all these other films, but I never got to watch them because I was too young.
Yeah.
And then by the time I became old enough, I kind of like became a little bit snobby about horror movies. It was kind of, there was a lot of bad ones in the 90s.
Probably just movies in general. But yeah.
So I went for so long just never visiting them. And then I don't know why, but last year I decided, I was like, I'm going to start diving into it. So I chose Nightmare on Elm Street. And
That's where you started.
Yeah.
Okay.
And fuck, how did it take me so long? Like it's like it was made for me. Everything about it's perfect. So I binged all of that. I loved most of them. Even like part 2, which I know gets shit on a lot.
It's really grown on a lot of people.
And there's a documentary about the making of it, of how it's kind of like this allegory for like homosexuals being in the closet and all that.
Yeah.
And which makes it even more fascinating, and I can't wait to watch that, because to me it's like, it's brilliant that the director did that and pulled it off.
Oh yeah.
Like that's
especially in the 80s.
incredible.
Oh
so,
yeah.
Yeah, it's so I'm now just discovering all these things. So another one, a lot of them I've seen scenes of them, or they've been on TV, but I've never
the more iconic
yeah
images and stuff from them.
Exactly, right? So this year I'm going to start binge watching the Halloween series.
So yeah, you were kind of telling me before you've never watched
Never.
any of the Halloween movies.
No.
Okay. And you're going to watch all of them?
So I have to pick a timeline, right? Because there's a few different branches, right?
There is now,
Yeah.
with the 2018. So, I mean, I would start at the beginning and just watch them in order.
I'll have to,
because at this point, it's kind of like, if you've never seen any of them, you may as well watch, like I've been watching them my whole life, and Michael Myers is my favorite of the slashers, and Halloween is my favorite of the, like, John Carpenter's so fucking good.
Did you know John Carpenter wrote the Halloween theme?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. That's badass. Dude, as a musician, I respect that. That's awesome.
John Carpenter wrote most of the music in most of his movies.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because he was a musician before he was a filmmaker.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so he wanted to, when they were making Halloween, he wanted just something simple but like kind of creepy. So he wrote that melody, like do 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 do. Like he just kind of wrote that melody, and then they playing it over and over on the high pitched keys, and then adding in the dum dum. Yeah, it's just like he wanted something that was simple but effective, and
it's
he
iconic.
nailed. Yeah, who knew? he definitely didn't know when he was sitting down at his piano to write that he was literally about to write one of the most iconic horror scores of all time. And then you look at Friday the 13th with the whole like the
yeah, it's like it's like because it's I don't know the composer's name, but he was saying that it's like it's the voice telling him something. Like what was like something
kill for mother.
Yeah,
and so he took the k from kill
and then
ma, and then he put an echo on it, so it was k, ma.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And most people think it's like
yeah, that's
but it's
when people repeat. So I put that in the VHS song. So there's that little Easter egg in there. I also have like the Psycho strings going on.
Yep.
And then if you listen to some of the lyrics, there's a lot of little nods to different.
I did hear. I got to listen to it more, but like I did hear some of the Easter eggs, and I do really appreciate. I love the fact that you've taken that, essentially that era, and you're trying to encompass it in a song. And I love the title too, Violent Horror Story.
Yeah, it was just like this is what all these movies are. They're violent horror stories on
they
VHS.
Are. And so in writing that song, so you haven't watched Halloween, but what are the ones that you have? Like what else did you kind of draw inspiration from in?
So there's Nightmare on Elm Street. And there's actually a few that I did watch as a kid, and I don't know why they snuck by, but like I remember loving the Child's Play series.
Okay.
I watched all of them as a kid.
See, I've never seen any of the original ones.
Oh,
I've only seen the remake.
They're brilliant.
Maybe I've seen the first one.
You get to enjoy them in such a way that like, because now the Child's Play franchise is self-aware.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't know. Like I haven't really dived into the new stuff. I kind of lost interest.
Oh yeah, because they have the series now too.
Yeah.
I've heard the series is actually pretty good.
But like when they play it straight,
yeah,
it's so it's so good. It's so much better.
It's such a good concept because it's like a fucking like serial killer or just like some
possessing a doll.
Yeah. And then like going on a murderous rampage.
And the serial killer, like it's Chuck. So it's like it's like obviously they're saying this is Charles Manson going inside and there was a lot of dolls at the time that were like super popular, like the Teddy Ruxpin dolls everyone had. And I remember it just spoke to me so much as a kid because I remember my sister got
Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah, my sister got this doll for Christmas that was like that tall, and it was called the Walking Doll. Okay. Which, if that isn't creepy enough of a title already, we were all scared of the thing. Like she got it for Christmas, she was super happy, and then like that night she like wouldn't sleep with it in a room, and it became like this lore of this doll. Like we believed it was possessed.
So like an Annabelle thing.
Yeah, but like we would also like, even though we were scared of it, we would also deliberately prank each other. So like I remember one time I had set it up outside the bedroom door and just leaned it on because my sisters were both in the room. So in the morning when they opened it up, or at night when they went to go to the bathroom, it like fell in and they're like, oh my God.
That's amazing.
Or we put it up on the bunk bed ladder. And so they woke up to that. And so anyways, it escalates to the point where she's like, I'm throwing this fucking thing out.
Yeah,
so
no shit.
We go out into the back alley, dump it into the bin. And then she has this friend that lives like down the block. And she goes to her house for a sleepover. And she's got several of these walking dolls. Like she was one of those where she got like the blonde, the brunette, the redhead, all of them. But then my sister looks in the corner and she sees this dirty one sitting there. And it's the one we threw out. And she's like, where did you get that? And she's like, I found it in the garbage. Can you believe somebody just threw it out? She's like, I have to go home.
Goodbye. Oh my God. And she never went to that friend's house again.
She didn't. She never did.
Of course not. That friend got murdered by the fucking scary walking doll. That's terrible.
Yeah, so that one really spoke. And then there was a ton of Stephen King movies that I was all over, like the original It. I saw way too young.
Okay, did that fuck you up? And like, are you scared of clowns?
I'm not scared of. No, I don't have that. I know a lot of people that are scared of clowns in general, and I'm not. But yeah, it fucked me up as a kid.
Really?
That was a hard
Wild.
one to watch.
I'm trying to think of like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Oh shit! I guess. I'm trying to think of like a movie, because I didn't see the original It movie when I was a kid, but I feel like that's one that my mom would have been like, oh yeah, you should watch that, right? Because like, I mean, I was probably like 11 or 12.
Yeah, and it's pretty clean, really.
Oh, it's pretty, well, yeah, it was made for TV.
Yeah.
It was a made for TV movie, but I mean, I was like, yeah, I was young. Like at that point, yeah, like maybe 11 or 12, and like Pulp Fiction was on the TV on like TBS or something. And she was like, don't watch it on TBS. They edit it for TV. She was like, go rent it and watch it. You'll enjoy it so much more. And I was amazing. Like, being like a literal child and being like, oh, because she knew how much I like movies.
Yeah.
So I think for her, it wasn't like, she wasn't telling her like 11-year-old son, she wasn't being a bad mom being like, here, 11-year-old kid, watch Pulp Fiction. She was talking to her like, film intelligent child that she was like, no, you will love Quentin Tarantino's movies.
Like if you're gonna
yeah, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it in my house under my watch, and like you know what kind of thing, like, here, smoke this entire pack of cigarettes so you never want to smoke kind of thing, like, yeah. Or if you're gonna drink, you're gonna do it under my roof.
Right.
So yeah, it's like if you're gonna watch Quentin Tarantino, you're gonna do it under my roof. And I mean, like, she and I went and saw both Kill Bills in theaters together.
Oh, nice.
When they came out. And I mean, yeah, I was probably way too young to see those in theaters, like 13 or 14, but like, she respected me enough to understand that, you know, the cinema aspect of it and like appreciate it for what it is. Right. Whereas, so I'm trying to think back to like the horror stuff where it's like, what did I watch as a kid? I don't think there was really anything that I watched when I was a kid that really like fucked me up. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But it definitely formed my love of cinema. And I mean, like, I'm in the same boat. Like, yes, I've seen so much horror and I've seen so many movies from that era, but there's also still so many I haven't seen.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. There's always that movie or the band you haven't listened to, and people are just in shock, like, oh, how could you not? I was like, there's a lot of stuff out there, but it's kind of cool because like here I am, like this is decades later after this stuff is released, and it's still there. I get to go and discover it, and I'm glad that I'm discovering it now when I'm more like open to it. And even though I've never seen them, like back then, they're nostalgic in another way. So it's kind of like new experiences that are also nostalgic, and I love that we kind of live in this world where we get to do that. You know?
Yeah, I fully agree with you on that, where you don't have the frame of reference for necessarily the nostalgia of it, and like the like the maybe the what's the word I'm looking for? Just like the, you know, I guess the nostalgia of like seeing it when you were a kid and
like having that memory
like you don't have the memories of like seeing it when you were a kid, but you as an adult can appreciate it a lot more for what it is.
Yeah.
Watching it. Like I just watched RoboCop for the first time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like this month.
What did you think?
I loved it.
So good.
I've heard so many good things about, like, obviously, like it's an incredible movie.
Yeah.
I knew it was an incredible movie, and it was one of those ones that's just like it's on the proverbial list. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like whenever somebody's like, "Oh, you need to watch," I'll put it on the list.
Yeah, Captain America.
Totally. Yeah. Like everybody has that proverbial quote unquote list. Sometimes I actually do have a list.
Yeah.
Of stuff, but yeah, I bought it on like Blu-ray.
Okay.
Because it was cheap, and it was the Arrow video release.
Okay.
So it was like the director's cut or whatever, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it, because then if I'm paying for the Blu-ray, at least it's gonna like somewhat force me to wanna sit and watch it. Because like I love watching stuff down here. I love it. But I also really enjoy my 4K setup upstairs, right? Yeah. So it's kind of a good mixture of both.
Yeah.
And another friend I was talking to, he also collects VHS and stuff. I had him on the show not that long ago, John Moretta. He said that people ask him too about his collection. They're like, do you watch all your movies? Like, do you watch everything in your collection? And he goes, no, like there's no way. There's like, I collect it, whether for the artwork or the collectible factor about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but there's not enough time in the day
To watch all of it all.
to watch.
But it's nice because like
everything.
it's nice to be like if you get that urge, like I'm just seeing like Idle Hands is up there.
I've seen
And
that
it's
movie so many times.
So good. And it's like I haven't thought about that in so long, but it's
Is
like
it on DVD or VHS?
it's on DVD up there, yeah. But it's like it could just pop in your mind for whatever reason and you'd be like, I gotta watch that.
That's one of my favorite band cameo movies of all time.
Oh, The Offspring, yeah.
Where Dexter gets his fucking scalp ripped off. That is iconic. I absolutely fucking love that movie.
I love that movie because it was so stupid.
Oh, it's so stupid.
It's so good.
But it's like it's a really good stoner comedy.
Yeah.
Like and I also I have the sentimental attachment to it because I watched it, like my brother was the one that showed it to me when I was a kid, and like you know, we would like sit around and get high and like fucking watch, like he was the one who introduced me to Kevin Smith.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
older brother. And so I'll never forget this. The first time he went to show me Mallrats. So it was the first first time I ever watched a Kevin Smith movie.
Same.
And I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan now.
Yeah.
But at the time, he puts on the movie. We got like halfway through it, and I just kind of went, I was like, man, can we watch something else?
You're like, what is this?
I was like, I don't get it. Like, I'm too young.
How old were you?
Oh man, I was probably like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
maybe bordering on like I don't even think I was.
You were so close to getting it.
Yeah, I
you
was.
weren't there
I was
yet.
no, and so yeah, that first viewing on VHS in his room, like when he was living with his parents in South Calgary, and I don't even know if I don't even know if I was smoking weed at that time. We probably were stoned, but I think we probably were stoned, and that's probably why I was bored, because I was like, I don't understand the humor here.
Yeah.
I don't get what's going on. I probably couldn't focus on it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so I love telling that story because like I've met Kev a few times,
Oh, yeah.
and I love all his movies, and like I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan, but I love the fact that the very first time I ever watched one of his movies, I asked my brother to turn it off because I was bored.
I like that, like, because it's like it shows that so much of how much we enjoy something has more to do with us than it does the property itself.
Yeah.
Like if I had watched Nightmare on Elm Street, like when I was like a teenager, I probably would have been like, yeah, the graphics suck, this sucks, but just started ripping on it, right?
Oh,
But-
yeah.
But now it's like, I don't know, it's just a different frame of reference, just in appreciating those practical effects and
Oh yeah,
just at least knowing, like even when he goes through the window and the arms are or like
Yep.
when he pulls it's
Yep.
the mom, right? It's like the kind of like an end credit scene.
Yeah, she's standing in front of the door, and then he
Yeah.
pulls her through the door. Yeah,
Even when the doll kind of goes through
Yep.
the door and it's like
it's like a
obviously-
blow up doll too. It's not even like, but it's like it's cheap. Yeah,
But it's like you're like, at least I know that doll went through the door.
yeah,
I saw what I saw and it was real. You know?
yeah, and to that point, because at a certain I know exactly what you're talking about. The film snobbery, where you're just like, I only watch Criterion, and I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. Paul Thomas Anderson is my god.
Yeah.
I fucking love Paul Thomas Anderson
Yeah.
movies. I can't stand Wes Anderson movies anymore. Like I actually hit this point where I'm like, I don't think I ever need to watch another Wes Anderson movie in my life. No, and like that's fine. He's a really talented filmmaker,
sure.
and he's really, really good at what he does.
Yeah.
But I think after, I think it was like Isle of Dogs. I tried to watch Isle of Dogs, and I was just kind of like, oh, I think I'm moving out of my film snobbery stage.
Yeah. And then also as a creator, you lean, as you gain success too, you lean more and more into the thing you want to do.
Totally.
And then as a consumer, you might be going a different direction.
So to that, exactly
Yeah.
right there. So with like you wanting to do this song this year, and with me wanting to build this space and kind of, lean more into like the nostalgia factor of
Yeah.
our youth, and well, I guess it's not really our youth because I was born in '88.
Right. Right.
So I was a child of the '80s for 2 years, but I still want to be able to collect these movies and watch some of them, and go back to that era a little bit while
Yeah.
also still you know, bringing it into the future and moving forward. I think I feel, especially for a lot of my 20s, it's so funny. For a lot of my 20s, we're going to get real deep here. This is my therapy, by the way. For a lot of my 20s, I spent a lot of time reflecting back.
Okay, yeah.
So I was looking backwards, going like, oh, I wish I could go back to this point. Wish I could go back to that point. I wish I could go back to that point. And so, not that I didn't like enjoy my 20s in the moment, but you know, sometimes you get stuck in that, like, you romanticize.
Yeah.
We romanticize things in our lives.
And I think that makes sense too, because at that point in your life, I mean, with 20 being an even number, I think helps solidify that line of childhood versus adult.
Totally.
But it's like you're feeling the end of something, and it's, you know that saying is like, one day you and your friends went to play outside for the last time and none of you knew.
Yeah.
It's like you don't really know, but when you turn 20, you know it's official, childhood is done. And then that's, I think, what forces, because I did the same thing too. I was very nostalgic and definitely looking back. And also, I mean, it's weird. I made this random post. It was like a kid sleeping in like a very nostalgic room with VHS and Nintendo and all that. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't thinking of it. I just really liked the artwork. I wanted to share it. And I just kind of wrote, when it feels like you have nothing to look forward to, look back. And then everyone was like, oh, it's so sick, you know. But it's like, that's what it is, because it's like there's so much uncertainty when you're new to adulthood that you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm doing. And then you look back, and there's like comfort in that. Mm-hmm. This is also kind of painful.
I mean, I still don't know what I'm doing. No, I fully agree. So yeah, I spent most of my 20s looking backwards, and then, you know, get to the end of, it's like suddenly I'm 29 and I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to turn 30.
Yeah.
You know, I was very, very terrified of turning 30 and like crossing that, like turning 20 was fine. Mm-hmm. You know, turning 18, it was like, oh, I'm an adult. And then, you know, you're kind of like, this is going to last forever. And then in a blink of an eye, it's over.
You're like, what?
So many adults tell you, they're like, you're going to blink and you're going to be so old. And it's like, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. This is going to last forever. No, it literally, like, I can't believe I'm 34. I'm 34 now. I'm going to be 35 in February. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's 5 years removed from me being worried about turning 30.
Yeah.
And so I think I've spent, I spend more of my time trying to look forward and focus on not too far in the future, but at least focus on the here and now. And like,
what do I want to do? What's
totally
next?
And just appreciating, because all of it's very finite.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's all very, as sad as it is, like, none of this is going to exist forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not always going to live in this house. Like, eventually someone else will live here. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to enjoy the time I have while I'm here. And so I think it's been super helpful, but there's still just this, like, part of me that gets I'm a really sentimental person.
Yeah.
So there's still part of me that gets really fucking sentimental about things. And like, you know, change is difficult sometimes. And like,
yeah,
I just went out to my buddy's cabin this weekend with a couple of friends from high school. And this is something we've done, you know,
periodically over and over.
Well, for like, we're 15 years removed since we left high school.
Yeah.
And in those 15 years, we've probably done it like 10 times.
That's crazy. That's
awesome. So it's like a lot. And then we only went out for Friday night, Saturday night, and it was just the three of us. And I was like, okay, like, this is like, it was fun, but it was also just kind of like, it was so much different.
Yeah.
It was so far removed from where we were.
You've changed. The experience is the same, but now you're...
Yeah, like when we were like, you know, 20 and like there was a big group of us going out where there was like, you know, like 10 of us all going out at once, and we were going down to the beach and there for like 5 days or whatever. And everybody's like drinking, having fun. And then, you know, now it's like the one guy's got 3 kids and the other one no kids, but he's still smoking weed, but he's not drinking anymore, and that's fine. I don't drink.
Yeah. Same.
There's like, you know, a couple drinks were had by the one guy, but I mean, like the Saturday night, it was like 11 p.m. and we're all just kind of like, okay, bedtime. Like, we're tired. We were just kind of sitting, like, seriously, it was just like, all right, I guess we're going to bed.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like, it was just like, oh, okay, like, I get it. We're old men now.
Yeah, but it's like, so we change, but it's like, I think a lot of people get stuck in that fact of like, it's weird. I saw a random interview. It was with like Pauly Shore. I think it was on Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking about his heyday and everything, and like, you know, when the Encino Man was out and all those things, and he was just like top of the world. And he thinks back to those times, and he's like, yeah, I just really miss those days. And you know, Joe Rogan's like, well, you can still go out and party like you did. You can still do these things. He's like, yeah, but I don't wanna. He's like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to go home and have some tea. That's what I want to do. He's like, okay, go do that. He's like, yeah, but like, it's not the same. And I could see that he was trying to convey something. Like, he had like the things that he used to really love to do, he doesn't love doing them anymore. So he doesn't, but he hasn't discovered what makes him as happy as those things used to do. And I think that's the thing you got to keep doing, is you got to keep trying new things and discovering new things. And then that you get to do those new things and they become the new good old days. Right. And so kind of never stay static. It's like, if you can keep looking for things that excite you, you'll never really have that feeling of like,
well, it's the reason Alice Cooper quit drinking.
Yeah.
He always says golf saved his life.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because he quit drinking and started playing golf. And then I think it's Alice Cooper. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm like 90. Yeah, because he lives in Arizona, so he can golf all year. And so he replaced drinking with golf.
You always got to replace things with something, or else there's this gap, you know?
Yeah, and I know exactly what you mean. So when I quit smoking in January of 21, I didn't really know what to replace it with. And I think I'm still working on that, because I replaced the smoking with anxiety. No, because honestly, like it was well,
if you're good at something.
Oh, yeah, no, right? It's like the Soul Asylum song "Misery."
Yeah, I love that song.
We can build a factory. I love that fucking song.
Make misery
so
good. Frustrated,
incorporated.
My misery.
Oh my god, I fucking love Soul Asylum.
The music video where they show the factory making CDs, and the song's called Misery. So we can build a factory and make misery.
Make misery.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. It's so smart. No, I could literally have powered an anxiety factory with how I was feeling back in like November, December, January, February, March. No, like of this year. Well, even all of last year before I started, because I'm taking an anti-anxiety med now, and it's taken a while for it to really like kind of figure itself out in terms of squashing it. It's doing a good job, because I don't feel like the anxiety I was feeling was like debilitating. Like I couldn't fucking I couldn't function, and it was not. I was also going through a really hard time at that point as well. But it's where was I going with this? Oh, so I replaced, like, cutting cigarettes out of my life. I suddenly had nothing to hide behind. So the anxiety went through the roof, because I wasn't squashing
you didn't
that.
Have the fix to distract from it.
Right. Because I was, anytime stuff got stressful or whatever it was, the way I was dealing with it was having a cigarette. Right. So suddenly it's like, oh, your anxiety is fucking out of control. What the fuck? So now it's like, okay, you have to deal with that. So yeah, I'm medicated for that. But, I think more recently I've probably added sugar back into my diet in a big way. And I've probably used sugar, especially this last summer, as kind of like my replacement for cigarettes. But I'm working on cutting that, not down. Cause it's not like, once you deny yourself something,
Yeah.
you want it even more, right? So it's like I don't
Yeah.
I'm not ever
That's where the concept of replacing it comes in. It's like you're not saying no to this,
Yeah.
you're just saying yes to something else, but there's not enough room for both.
totally. So
Yeah.
it's like instead of like, you know, a bag of fucking M&Ms or Smarties or whatever, I'm gonna replace it with something like whatever else.
Yeah.
Right. That's a little more popcorn. That's what my health and wellness coach, she was like, yeah, get popcorn and then get flavoring for it because the flavoring's like 0 calories, so I can have salt and vinegar popcorn. And it's
popcorn's mostly air.
yeah, so it's like it's a lot. You know, you can eat like she's like get the Smart Pop stuff, and then it's like, it's just like little things like that I'm starting to be because again, in your 20s, you think you're invincible, that you're gonna live forever and all this shit, and then you get older and so because you're in your 30s. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like when I turned 30, it was like that was a milestone, and then now that I'm about to hit 35, I've hit this other crescendo of like, you know, it's a little harder to pee. It's like, no, like seriously, like just like the body starts to,
you're becoming more and more aware of your own
aches and pains are a little bit more prevalent. My knees crack a little bit more. Like the things are like, I'm starting to see the very real, like the very real time, like, oh shit, like there's deterioration happening.
evidence of your mortality.
Yes. Yeah. Evidence of our mortality. And so,
which is the next single next Halloween.
So I'm trying to be more cognizant of taking care of myself.
Yeah.
So I have a health and wellness coach who's a friend of mine from high school, actually. She's awesome. Shout out Carissa. I was talking to her yesterday because we took the summer off because she needed a mental health break as well as, you know, I mean, we're all human. Sometimes we need that.
Yeah.
And so we're getting back on track with that. And I was talking to her yesterday, and one of the things that she said to me, but that also had resonated with her, was the phrase, play the tape all the way through. And I guess what that means is, so you can get the instant gratification from something like, you know, a snack or something that like is going to give you that dopamine release immediately. Right. But if you play the tape all the way through, you know, you're going to see a better end result if you don't do the instant gratification thing now.
You're just stopping it. Yeah.
And you work at the, you know, actually there's probably like a football metaphor there too, where it's just like you're watching the game tape and you're looking at ways to improve. So, or hockey or whatever, right? Like I'm going to watch the game tape and I'm going to go, okay, I know what my shortfalls are. I know that I eat too much fucking chips and candies and fucking, I don't drink sugary pop. Thank God. That's probably what's kind of saved me from.
That's a huge vice for me for sure.
Oh my God, dude. I honestly, like, my favorite thing in the world is 7-Up Zero. It's, it tastes the same.
Yeah.
And it's delicious and there's 0 calories in it.
I'm always going off because I can never find like the diet ginger ale.
Oh yeah.
Like Canada Dry.
Yeah.
It's in some places, but it's never where I'm looking, and I'm always like, you know.
But like, think about that. Like, think about how much fucking sugar we're ingesting.
Yeah.
Just from like sugary pops.
Just drinking it. Yeah.
Literally. So I think that one change alone is what actually kind of saved me this summer. Was not going back to full sugar pops and full sugar drinks. So
what's really good actually is the more we talk, the older we sound. But
I'm calling this episode "Get the Fuck Off My Lawn."
Talking about old movies.
Oh my God, get off my lawn!
But there's
featuring Spetembryo.
There's a pop called Zevia, and it's sweetened with stevia, which is just like a plant, so it's not artificial sweetener. And
I haven't tried it. Is it good?
So it depends. Their ginger ale is like way more gingery. And like at first I was not about that.
I don't like ginger.
Yeah, but like I got used to that. But the root beer, they have 2 kinds of root beer. The root beer itself is great. Like going straight from pop to their root beer was awesome. Like this tastes exactly the same. And then they came out with a new one called creamy root beer. And it's even better. The cola is going to piss you off. You know,
I won't even try the cola.
no, yeah, like the cola you have to get used to.
No, I'll just drink Coke
But
Zero.
the orange, the black cherry, the grape, the cream soda, all of those are awesome.
Really?
You're gonna be so mad because their worst flavor is lemon lime.
Well, that's fine. I got
Literally tastes like Mr. Clean.
Oh.
It's disgusting.
Oh.
It's so bad.
Like lemon pledge.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what it tastes like. Carbonated lemon
That's
pledge.
fucking awful.
The rest of them are really great, honestly. So
Okay,
I try to drink those.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take your recommendation on that, and I'm gonna try them.
Yeah, start with the creamy root beer, and then because I feel like I can guarantee that you're gonna like that one.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
then branch out, try the other ones.
Yeah, because you got to buy them in like 6-packs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're a bit more expensive. You go to Superstore.
Oh fuck!
they'd
I
be
don't
like
have money
$5.
I don't have money for expensive pop. What the
I
fuck
know.
What the fuck are you trying to do to me here? Guy thinks I'm fucking got racks on racks on racks in here, and he's just like, go buy expensive pop. Go buy the most expensive pop.
You got the Funko Pops. Those are got to be the most expensive pops.
The Funko sodas are not cheap.
No, how much are they?
They're like $20 a piece. They're more expensive than the Funko, like the inbox Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me.
Right, because you don't know what you're getting either, right?
No.
That's crazy.
I love opening them though.
Yeah.
It actually has become a lot of fun.
I love watching you open them.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, like I've got
That's a badass collection just looking at those right there. Like there's not one in there that I wouldn't love.
No, exactly. And I mean the few that I've gotten the Chase version of, I'm really stoked on. Like the Egon was the very first one the Peter Venkman one my friends got me for my birthday.
Nice.
Because I didn't even know what they were.
Yeah.
Before that, they got me that when I opened it. I was like, oh, cool. And then I saw there was an Egon one, so I ordered it, and I opened it, and I didn't even really. I mean, I opened it on the video, and you see, like, I'm so excited. I was like, oh, it's a Chase. I didn't even really know what that meant until I kind of like started looking into it more. I was like, what the fuck, like.
So I don't know what that means actually. Like
So,
you always mention the Chase, and I was like, what is that?
Okay, so it's there. So let's say there's 10,000 cans. Like they made 10,000 of them.
Yeah.
They're numbered. So if you open one and it's a regular one, the little pog on the inside is going to say like one of, let's say, 8,200. Okay. And then that would mean that there's 1,800 Chase variants out there. And the Chase variant, so if you look at like Leatherface on the top, he's covered in blood.
Yeah.
That's a Chase.
Okay.
Because he has the blood splatter on him.
So it's just like a unique version of it.
Yeah, it's just a different version, like a more limited version.
Okay.
So the regular version doesn't have the blood splatter.
I see.
And then Egon, if you see Egon, he's got green, the slime on him. So that's a Chase version.
Oh, okay.
And then the Snake Plissken, that's a Chase because he's got the different gun.
Oh,
the regular one, I guess it's a smaller gun and he's holding it upright.
So it's just a variant that's more rare than the
and then Goliath.
Yeah.
That's the Chase of Goliath.
The stone version of it.
Yeah, so the regular one is just like regular. He's like purple and
like
dark purple
when he's alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's wicked.
Yeah, so it's
now I know.
Yeah, so that is why I started doing those videos, because the first one got a bunch of views and I was like, oh shit, I guess people like enjoy like me opening.
They like to see the wonder in your eyes as you open up things.
It's not. I don't even know it's that, but it's like it's really kind of. I guess it's the combination of like, oh shit, did he get the Chase or
yeah.
It's kind of the mystery of like, all right, let's open it up and let's see. And I kind of like the system that I've built where it's like I'm unwrapping them out of the plastic.
Yeah, and you don't.
I don't know what's in there. Because the Egon, I knew immediately because I looked in the bottom and it said,
yeah, you're always like, I'm not going to look in the bottom because
well, because I don't want to ruin the surprise, right? So I try to, I want to unwrap it and like look at the sky. And so, if you haven't seen my TikTok, go to my TikTok. It's @Lympodicus and watch all my soda opening videos. I can't wait till I have more followers on TikTok and I can build, you can build playlists, I think, at a certain point when you have enough followers.
Right. Yeah.
Because then I can put all of the food trying ones together. I can put all
one series
on one playlist, and then I can I actually just TikTok just unrolled or rolled out the live studio.
Oh, is that like the Now thing? I'm just getting into TikTok.
No, that's
now.
fair. It's kind of like, well, I can go live from my computer.
Oh, okay, yeah,
instead
like
of my
video.
phone, so
Okay.
I can do a multicam live show, which I intend to start doing. I want to do like a multi-camera live show in here.
That'd be
because
fun.
I mean, fuck it, why not?
Hell yeah.
I can do a whole. I'm thinking. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't think every day, but I'm going to do like at least once a week. You know, go live every like Thursday or whatever, and go like for 2 hours and like.
Yeah.
Because I got lots of stuff in here.
I'm here anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, like literally, I'm here anyway. I got lots of stuff I can talk about, and
That's wicked.
I could bring guests in. We could watch movies and shit like that. So.
Yeah, just doing that, I'm in.
Yeah, like
Let's watch movies again.
yeah, exactly. Like, it's pretty fucking cool. So, do you have? I mean, obviously, I'm gonna put the song at the end of this video, and they can hear the new song. Do you already have? Well, you said you have 7 written beyond the 2 you've released, or 7 total.
Beyond the 2 that I've released, yeah, like
So 9 total.
They're kind of like, so what happens is because I listen to music seasonally anyways, and then
Yeah.
I also write it seasonally.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not sure that other people consciously listen to music the same way, but I feel like there's that subconscious association between seasons and music, because I know that
I mean, I listen to Christmas music solidly for like 3 months straight.
yeah, so like that's the easiest way to explain it, is like Christmas music has a feeling, it has that association with winter, but like another way to kind of like break it down is like if you're watching a film and the film score, like if it starts snowing, they'll start getting those little bells and chimes in there, right? So there's certain sounds and things that, you know, or like rainy day music, you know.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very heavily in that. So I write that way too. So every season, it will change the way I write. So starting in September, I start getting really excited for fall, and I won't write the songs beyond September and October, but every year I just focus on that. And I go on the piano. Lately it's the piano a lot. And I'll just start writing really spooky things that almost sound like film scores or something, but I just turn it into a pop song or whatever it happens to be. The one that I'm working on right now is kind of more of like a burlesque kind of sound.
Interesting.
So, and I've never done anything like that before, which is
Okay.
kind of, this is also like a side benefit of like writing songs this way, is that it really pushes you to try things you haven't done. So that's going to be really fun. I'm really excited to do like a very retro kind of doo-wop kind of sound for a Halloween song, like do a full on like Monster Mash type thing, get some theremin in there, like the retro sci-fi.
Oh fuck.
So if I do it like a Halloween song that's like sci-fi, like aliens, like I gotta go way back to that, you know, Silver Age kind of,
I mean,
you know, flying saucer vibe.
well, basically what you've pitched is like you're gonna be making this album like well into your 40s.
Oh yeah, like indefinitely.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever want to not write Halloween music. So
Okay.
for the rest of my life. Yeah.
No, that's great. And I think honestly, I think that's great that you want to do that, and I hope it inspires more
Hell yeah.
artists to do the same thing, so that, you know, future Halloween playlists are built off of your guys' songs instead of like the I mean, obviously there will always be classic,
Yeah.
you know, playlists with like Michael Jackson's Thriller and
Yeah. Forever. That will always be a classic.
yeah,
Deservedly so. Yeah.
of course. But no, it is good to, it is definitely awesome to have some, you know, future, I mean, fuck, like give me all the Halloween music
Exactly,
you have. Do you have a title for the next one? You probably don't want to like, I mean, it's a year away. But
I would say it, and like I don't know what's gonna happen.
you can
Like,
tell me. You can tell me after.
I'll tell you in private because I'm proud of it, but I don't want to give it away.
No, that's fair. Yeah, you can tell me in private because I do kind of want to know. But no, that's fucking awesome. So I'm excited for you to watch all the Halloween movies. You're gonna have to tell me what you think.
Yeah, I found this like it's like a choose your own adventure chart,
Oh yeah,
and so obviously you start with the first movie, Halloween.
you could literally start with 3.
Yeah, because
You almost. You know what you should do? Start with 3.
Yeah.
Don't watch them in order. Start with Halloween 3.
Yeah.
Because it literally has nothing to do with anything else. I think the only tie-in it has is at one point there is a TV commercial for Halloween 1978 playing on TV.
Oh,
They're
weird.
like, yeah, it's like, well, yeah, it's a reference to like Halloween on Tuesday night on ABC or whatever. Like it's,
That's funny.
You know how they used to do that when they would play movies on TV? I mean, I'm sure they still do, but I mean, who watches TV? I think that's the only callback to Halloween at all. But yeah, it's one of my favorite.
That's cool. I was gonna just skip over it for that reason, but you're making me want to watch it.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't see. The problem is that a lot of Halloween purists and just bad people in general will totally kidding, sort of, but I know, like, I don't know how many times people had told me, like, especially when I was younger, like watching the Halloween movies, they're like, oh, Halloween 3 is so bad.
Right.
And so it's just kind of like one of those things, like, I guess unconsciously, I just never, I had it. I had a 2-pack that was Halloween 2 and Halloween 3 on DVD. And I just never, I watched Halloween 1 and 2 and I just never watched 3 because I had heard that it was so bad. And that was one of those things where I just kind of gave into it.
I wonder if it was marketed a certain way. Like people didn't realize Michael Myers was not in it. And
no, I think it was marketed. The problem is that, okay, no, the big problem is that people are dumb. Because what John Carpenter, what his intention for Halloween initially was to make an anthology series called Halloween.
Yeah. And it was a different story each time.
Exactly.
That could have been really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's like there was a Friday the 13th series. Do you remember that back in the day? And that's what that was.
Yeah, because it had nothing to do with Voorhees.
Yeah, exactly.
And people didn't like it because they were like, "Where's Jason Voorhees?"
But I love
the Friday the 13th series. Actually, I think they went 3 seasons. But people. Yeah, I watched the Friday the 13th documentary and they talked about it a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it did run for 3 seasons at least. Like it ran for a little while. Now that I never watched it, but now that I think about it, yeah, it ran for a little while.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back and revisit it. I love all anthology, like Black Mirror, Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt, all that.
So good,
so fun.
So that was John Carpenter's original intention, and based on the success of Halloween, that pretty much launched into, okay, I guess we're making Halloween 2.
Yeah.
And it was a direct continuation of the first Halloween movie with Michael Myers and, yada, yada, yada. It's the second half of that story. That was never the intention.
That's funny.
The intention was never to carry on with Michael Myers. Then you get to Halloween 3. So they make Halloween 1 and 2. Then you get to Halloween 3, and it's like, yeah, let's tell a completely different story. And people hated it because they were like they're watching it going like, where's Michael Myers? Like, when is he going to show up? Why the fuck is it all just about this, like, these masks and like this fucking evil toy company or whatever?
I think I'll appreciate it because it's just this bizarre anomaly in a whole franchise.
If you completely remove the Halloween title and you just call it Season of the Witch, or something completely different, oh my God, it holds the fuck up.
That's cool.
The ending is probably my favorite part of that entire movie. Tom Atkins is fucking incredible in that movie. The lead actor, and you'll know exactly what I can't wait for you to watch it because you'll know exactly what
I will message you as soon as the credits roll.
Yeah.
I will be
because
like I'm a bad person because I hated it, or like I know exactly what you mean.
The end of that movie is fucking awesome.
Sweet. You actually got me pumped now. I was gonna just
go right over
it.
I'm really glad you're not going to because like it's on. Do you have it?
I can find them. I'll find them in different streaming sites.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I was gonna say I have the DVD copy. I
do you?
You. Yeah.
I don't even have a DVD player anymore. I got
for
nothing.
Fuck's
That's
sakes.
crazy, eh?
Well, do you have a game console?
I do. Yeah.
Well, then you have a DVD.
There you go. That makes sense.
I actually. Do you know how many people have told me that in the past too? Like where they're like, I don't have a DVD player anymore, and I'm like, do you have a Xbox, PS4? And they're like, oh yeah, I guess I do. And I'm like, yeah. You have. But nobody makes nobody makes the correlation anymore. Whereas when the PS2 came out, it was like, oh shit, it's a cheap DVD player.
Yeah, or it's
because it did
Blu-ray
both
player, right? Yeah.
And then the PS3, when the PS3 came out, like one of the biggest reasons I bought my PS3 was because it was like the cheapest way to get a Blu-ray player,
right?
At the time.
That's funny.
$500 or $600. Yeah, because like Blu-ray players were like $500 or $600, and it's like, well, I'd rather buy a PS3 that has a Blu-ray player in it.
This is such an old man thing to say, but this is like, it started obviously when I was much younger, when like Blu-ray first came out.
Yeah,
I hated Blu-ray because I didn't realize what's it called, like where things are in high def, but it's like it's the way it plays back, the motion blur. What is that again?
They call it something like True Motion or
so whatever that is. I
yeah.
thought that was it because that was the default, and I didn't.
Oh, you
realize
thought
you
it
could
had to
change
do with the Blu-ray?
I thought that's what Blu-ray was, so I was like, "Fuck Blu-ray! I'm never buying a fucking Blu-ray in my life."
You are
and then
silly.
So I had my DVD collection, and now I'm kind of like, even though I know that's not necessarily true, I'm also so satisfied to know that I've effectively never purchased a Blu-ray.
You never
I
did?
just went from DVD, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm not buying anything." And then streaming happened, and I was like, "Yeah, fuck you, Blu-ray." So like,
wow.
I won. Fuck you, Blu-ray.
Wow. Fuck you, Sony. Fuck you, Fuck you,
Fuck
Sony.
you, Sony. Yeah, fuck Sony.
Wow. That's not how that works at all. That is fucking hilarious. No, that has to do with the refresh rate on the TV.
Now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know, but I mean, even then, it was like, even if that wasn't a thing, it would have been like that old man being like, I don't want to buy this movie again. You know, I had it on VHS. I had it on this, you know, so it's like, I'm kind of happy that Blu-ray has had no effect on my life whatsoever, and I've outlasted it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Like Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, I literally have every release I've bought.
And
VHS through DVD, through Blu-ray,
sense.
through 4K.
And that's cool because that's a collector's thing too. It's like, yeah, you gotta have all the formats and everything, like Laserdisc.
Steelbook. Like Ghostbusters Steelbook with the 4K release.
Exactly.
I was like, I couldn't even get it in Canada, and I had to like order it from the States, and it cost me probably too much money, but I was like, I need it. You know, it's like shit like that where I'm like, yeah, so that's really funny that you never bought a single Blu-ray.
Yeah, I remember I used to work at HMV, and I would even I would put the stock away, and I'd be putting like the Blu-rays away, and be like, "Fuck you, Blu-ray."
That is the silliest thing I've ever heard. Oh my god!
So like for me, like I get mad at inanimate objects, but I don't really like yell at people or get in their face. But I'll just be like doing like my phone will just not be doing what it should be doing, and I'm like, "Fuck you, phone." Because it's like, for people, it's like, well, what's going on in their day? Maybe they're tired. Maybe something's, they're all fighting a battle that I know nothing about. But you were designed for a purpose. You have you were not born for a reason. You exist for my function. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You're a much better person than I am. 'Cause I constantly, if I'm having a bad day or whatever, I do try to remember like everyone's fighting a battle, and I do actually try to remember that, but it doesn't always work.
Well, I definitely have issues with people, and I'll get frustrated, but I don't normally take it out on people.
Yeah.
But I'll swear and curse at inanimate objects all the time, and then Lisette will be in the other room being like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I'm like, "It's the fucking air fryer,"
Why? What's wrong with your air fryer?
I don't know. I'm just anything that's just not doing what it should be doing.
Yeah,
I'll get mad at it.
I don't. Yeah, I guess I don't really. Yeah, I don't necessarily name it specifically. I'll just yell like "fuck" at it. But
fuck you, James.
Fuck you, James.
James is the name of my air fryer.
You named your air fryer?
No, but in this example, it makes sense.
Fuck you, James. That's funny. I honestly I can't believe Blu-ray passed you by. Like, what game console do you have then?
Oh, so I get so sucked into games. So the last game console that I personally bought was a PS1.
What?
So, yeah. Because, like, they'll take up all my time. I love...
Wait, so you don't even have one that would play DVDs?
Well, so our house, we have, like, a Wii U and an Xbox 360, I think. So, but I don't play them. I stay away.
Oh, okay. So you... Yeah. Okay. So...
It even bothers me that Facebook has games. Because it's like...
Oh, like you have a really addictive personality.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah. So I just stay away.
Yeah, don't try
completely.
crack then, because
Oh, really? Because I was just like Halloween 3. I was gonna just skip crack, but then my friend was telling me about it.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
like,
saying
the
skip.
purists always shit on
No,
crack.
no,
but
no,
it's
no,
really
no. I'm saying skip crack. From what I've heard, skip crack.
I like that your suggestion to skip crack was conditional. Like, oh, now that I've learned this thing about you, my advice is you shouldn't do crack because before I think you would have been okay.
Wait, you have a really addictive personality? Don't do meth.
You know what I heard?
I've heard meth is really bad. Crack, heroin, same thing. I've heard that cigarettes are harder to kick than heroin.
Oh, really?
So technically, I'm better than a heroin addict.
But then, like, who's your source of information?
I don't know.
It has to be a heroin addict. And do you trust their...
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't fucking know. I have no fucking idea. I don't do drugs, and drugs don't like me.
Yeah.
I was never. You're not. Well, I know you're not a big drug guy, but like when you're in your youth, did you ever like really experiment with like?
No, it's weird because I've actually never even smoked pot, and that's when people find that out, they usually think that it's like I'm gonna look down on them or something. I used to drink a lot, so it's like it's really
Oh, alcohol was your thing.
yeah. Alcohol was my thing very young, but it was funny because I had one of the biggest drinkers I ever known was my best friend growing up, and I think he had a few friends like OD where he came from, so he was like anti-drug, and so when we were like 15 and he found out that I hadn't tried anything yet. You know, where we grew up, that was like, you know, everyone who was 12 like smoked pot.
Oh, is that
or
how you
something.
bonded?
No, we
Oh.
were already friends, but when he found out, he was like, make a pact with me and
Okay.
say you'll never do drugs. And I was like, well, yeah, like I really didn't have an interest. And part of that was because I know I have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
But now it's funny because it's like, as I'm getting older, I'm really curious about psychedelics. So it's like,
yeah.
again, I'm skipping Blu-ray to streaming.
I've never smoked pot, but you know what? I'm gonna try LSD. What's
Exactly.
Adrenochrome? Yes, please.
I'm like reading books. I'm watching that, or I watched that Netflix docuseries, Michael Pollan's How to Change Your Mind, and it's really well done. And
I haven't watched
read the
that, but I'm
book.
sure it's probably microdosing.
It's microdosing.
Like
it's talking about like basically
psilocybin.
using psychedelics strictly as like therapy or therapeutic, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting.
I'm in the same boat. I have smoked pot. I've never done anything beyond that because I started having really bad panic attacks when I would smoke pot. And so that's why I stopped doing it. I loved it. I thought it was great. Like it was one of my favorite things in the world was just to like get high and like watch some movies because I felt like when I got high, I understood them more and like I could focus a lot better.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But once the panic set in, it was just kind of, or like took over.
Yeah.
It was really hard to get away from that snowball effect.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, all right, I'm done doing that altogether. But beyond that, I've never done mushrooms. I've never done anything else. And then when I started, my doctor wanted to prescribe me ADHD medication, like Vyvanse. And I was really against it. Like I was just like, I don't want to take, like I was in like tears, like on the phone with her where I'm like, what's it going to make me feel like? Cause I was so scared that it was going to make me feel
For sure. Yeah.
all fucked up and stuff like that. And she was like, okay, like, she's like, all right, like you're a grown man, stuff, you know. No, she's actually very, very kind and like she's very understanding because it's also like an anxiety thing where I was just like I was feeling anxious about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Dealing with an anxiety disorder, and she's like, "Here, let me help. Like, here, kid, let me help you." So very, very kind about it. But she was like, "Start with 10 milligrams and just kind of go from there."
Yeah.
So, the first time I took it, I was like, whoa, this is like a whole new world. And another friend of mine was like, have you never taken uppers before? I was like, nope. I don't know what that's
Yeah.
like.
What's an upper? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, like, does that make you feel good? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, cool. So I have also been curious about the whole psychedelics thing as well. For therapeutic reasons, because there's more and more research being done in terms of like psilocybin and like mushrooms and all that stuff and the benefits it has when you microdose and use it to kind of treat yourself. And in a lot of cases, from what I've read, it's very good at kind of balancing you out and kind of raising some of those like serotonin levels. And, and you know what I mean? And just kind of like people who are like immensely depressed, they do a microdose of, you know, I don't know,
mushrooms or whatever it happens to be.
And then suddenly they're just like, oh my God, life is so good. And like, let's fucking, so, there's a few routes. Like I'm in the same boat as you where I'm curious about it.
Yeah.
It still terrifies the fuck out of me.
Yeah, and I think that's healthy to be cautious about anything you put in your body. Yeah. But it's like for me there's that, but then there's also reading about psychedelic experiences and then seeing the overlap of those experiences and you know, paranormal experiences and seeing like the same themes and characters kind of come through. Like that's fascinating to me as well.
Well, you're elevating your mind to a different plane.
Yeah.
And whether that plane is actually, there's a couple schools of thought, right? Where it's just like you are putting your mind into a state of like altered states, right? Like you are altering your cognitive abilities and you're building it all up in here.
Yeah.
And then there's also the thought that like in so doing that, you're actually kind of connecting to a more broad kind of network. You know what I mean? Where it's just kind of, so like something you're seeing is actually like something somebody else could potentially be experiencing at the same time.
Right. Like I think the best analogy I've heard for it is like kind of tuning into different frequencies, like a radio dial.
Totally.
And it's like different substances or different states of mind can kind of focus that tuning. And it's like all these people, you know, I just guest hosted on a podcast in the UK called Dystopian Simulation Radio.
You're cheating on me?
Yeah. Okay. It was good.
Dystopian
Simulation Radio.
Okay. That's a really cool name.
It is cool. It's a fun podcast. They record out of the UK, although the one host, Linz, she's in Sweden a lot, and then Chris is in Japan. So they're kind of just like all over the place. And then here I am from Canada doing one. Our episode was like sleep paralysis. And so we kind of talked about that because it's like, you know, there's different states of consciousness as you're going to sleep. It's like the question came is like, is this just kind of a medical condition where people are just kind of dreaming before they're actually asleep? Or it's like, because we know so little about thoughts and dreams and like what they are, it's like, could it be possible that people are actually tuning into something in an altered state that is just as valid as what we're seeing before us right now? It's just on a totally different frequency, right? So it's like, again, it ties into that theory of like all perception is valid. It's just, you know, tuning into something different. And it's
so like a parallel universe kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to think that sometimes my dreams are like a parallel universe.
Yeah.
Of me or whoever I'm witnessing, you know, because a lot of my dreams are actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, and like I don't often, I have the odd nightmare here and there, but I don't often do. And I would like to think that like whoever's on the other end of that, if it's true, like that they're having fun.
Yeah, there's well, okay, so I'll share one weird experience because there's certain times when your dreams will line up with real life, and it's kind of suggestive that there's
I've had
a connecting thread. This one made it into the Spetembryo comic actually. Of course, it's fiction, so we wrote it a bit different, but when I was living downtown, I lived in the most ghetto ass building. Every floor had like a different carpet, different wallpaper. Like it was just like they would renovate things as they went but they never really took the time. So it was just really ghetto place. It's actually across the street from Dickens.
Okay, yeah. So where Dickens is now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And it was back then too. And then one of the things that would happen would be the fire alarm just went off all the time to the point where nobody reacted to it anymore.
Oh, it was just randomly.
Yeah. So like that was safe. And
yikes.
So I have this dream where I'm in the hallways of my apartment building, but I can tell I'm on a different floor because it has different carpet and it has different wallpaper and all that. And there's smoke everywhere. And I'm like, there's a fire on this floor. And then I wake up to the fire alarm. Except I don't put it together right away. I'm just like, oh, fuck me, the alarm's going off. So I get ready for work and I go and I get on the train and then I see fire trucks pull up to the building. I'm like, oh shit, the alarm was real this time. And then suddenly the dream came back and I was like, the fuck? So it's like...
And was it on the floor that you had envisioned?
So in the comic, there's confirmation that it is, but I never got confirmation of it. I never got nor did I know what floor I was on in the dream. But it was like...
got you.
Just kind of one of those weird coincidences where it's not confirmation, but it's those things that stand out that make you wonder. It's like, what are dreams really? You know, and it's funny that there's such basic questions that we have, like as far as science has come and everything, that we don't have answers for.
Well, and like if Inception is anything to be believed, those synapses are firing so fast that dream that you had, and it is actually true. That dream that you had where you were in that hallway with the smoke and the fire alarm, that probably in your mind was probably a few minutes.
Like influenced the dream.
To however long it was.
Yeah.
When the reality is it probably was no more than a split second.
Right, yeah.
And it was probably the split second the fire alarm went off and your synapses gave you that entire vision.
Yeah.
Of like you in the hallway and like, and it probably felt like, yeah, probably a few minutes, but it was probably literally just like the first time the fire alarm went off and it like, yeah, it was kind of like bringing you out of that sleep.
Yeah. It produces such a weird experience. 'Cause like, I think we've all had the experience of like something outside ourselves affecting the dream to the point where it seems like it's precognitive. Like,
yep.
I have a dream that I'm walking on the beach and then the tide comes in and just water,
yep.
envelops me. And then you wake up and your brother just dumped a bucket of water in your face. And you get up, loser. And then, like, how did that, but again, like you're saying.
Yeah, I fall asleep to TV a lot. Mm-hmm. So like I'm constantly listening to the TV and it's mostly The Office too. And if something's happening in the show or on the TV and I'm listening to that is reframing itself in its own way in my head.
In the dream, yeah. And
not even necessarily with like the characters the way they are or like whatever, right? So it's kind of like it is very interesting like how the real world can affect your dream state, but also the dream state. Yeah, we don't know what the dream state like if we are connected to something bigger or if it's so that is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. There was something I just found out about. They started doing these studies with like lucid dreamers, and they found out that when you're in the dream state, it's rapid eye movement, but they found out that while people are lucid dreaming, they can consciously move their eyes deliberately. And so they developed like this communication system where the movement of their eyes is actually like communicating things. And so in real time, as the dreamer is lucid in the dream, he can relay information to the lab where they're recording his eye movements. And it's like really bizarre to think about.
So he's asleep.
Yeah.
But he's telling the lab stuff.
Yeah.
Because he knows that he's sleeping in a lab.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's like they'll do experiments. Like I can't remember the things that they were doing, but they'll do things to kind of like influence the dream, and he gets to report back in real time what it's doing inside the dream. So weird.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a lucid dream?
I have.
Yeah.
I've never got good at it. I feel like I had one cool lucid dream where I was like surrounded by ninjas, and I was like, this is a dream, and I flew away, and I was like, that's cool. But the rest of them were like when I had a day job. I would dream that I was at the day job, and I'd be like, wait a second, I already punched out. I ain't doing nothing. Instead of like, this is the dream, like I should fly away or, go have some crazy sex or something.
Yeah.
It was like, no, I just stood there at my work and I was like, I ain't getting paid. I ain't doing nothing. I was like, that's the most common
fair.
Lucid dream I've ever had.
Now that you say that, I think I lucid dream more than I realize.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not always I'm not always necessarily aware that it's a dream, but I'm making conscious choices.
Like in like the creation of the dream, or like
just in like, yeah, like sometimes I do know that it's a dream and I'm just kind of like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like you're just kind of, I couldn't even give you like a specific example, but I know that there are definitely lots of times where I am making conscious choices
because it's a dream.
Yeah. And like,
so it's almost like you're lucid enough to know it's a dream, but you're not lucid enough to like to stop the dream from kind of dictating your experience.
My dreams have very rarely ever been like this, where I'm like literally like it's so clear and like I'm sitting here talking to you and like I'm in a space and like I can manipulate. Like it's very rarely ever that clear, but I've definitely had dreams where I'm like, oh shit, like okay, this is a dream. Have you ever had a dream within a dream?
Yeah, I've had dreams where I woke up and then I would get up and go about my day and it's thinking I'm awake. Most of the time when that happens, it's not as exciting as like Inception. And it's usually more just like I'm sleeping in and I have to get ready. So then my body's like tricking me that I'm awake so that I can still sleep. Like it's trying to get the sleep it needs. So it's like, give him a dream where he's getting dressed and getting ready, you know?
Dreams within a dream are the wildest thing.
Yeah.
They are the craziest thing in the world. And the dreams within a dream that I've had, those are some of the clearest dreams I've ever had, because those times where you're waking up from the dream and I think those have been pretty lucid for me, because I've been dreaming about something and then waking up and being like, oh, maybe not getting up for work, but just like conscious of like, oh shit, like that was a wild dream. Let's go and do some other stuff. And then eventually waking up from that dream and realizing that I wasn't awake.
Yeah.
Even though I was doing stuff.
Yeah.
In a lucid way.
Yeah.
Like that is
it's a bizarre feeling. It's really disorienting.
It's super disorienting, but it's also kind of like, I've never looked at it as like a negative thing. I've always kind of like come out of it and just been like, that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like that was cool. How do I do that more? So yeah, dreams are fucking weird. Like sleeping's the best thing in the world, because it's, you know.
Well, this is another like weird thing. So, and again, tying back to sleep paralysis. So when I was a kid, I used to sleepwalk.
Okay, yeah.
So you know the mechanism that locks your body up.
Yeah, I've sleepwalked a few times.
So for that's kind of how they explain sleep paralysis, is like it's mind awake, body asleep, and so your body's locked for safety. But obviously that's scary for people, because it's like you wake up paralyzed. That's not fun to begin with. And then my theory is that influences the dream imagery. So you're already scared. Now you're starting to see scary things. And then it becomes this feedback loop, because now there's someone in the room and it's scarier. And now they're coming towards you and it's scary. And so it's like, gets worse and worse. For me, that mechanism is broken. So I'm never paralyzed, but I get sleep paralysis all the time.
Really?
And I'm only just finding out now that even though I'm like in the 1% of, you know, people experience sleep paralysis that way, there's a ton of people that enjoy it. And that's kind of how it is for me too.
Whoa. Hold on. No, you got to explain this a little bit. What do you mean it's broken? Like you get sleep paralysis.
I don't get paralyzed.
But you can move around?
Yeah. So
how is that sleep paralysis then?
Right. If I'm not asleep or paralyzed.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I am drifting off, but it's really funny sometimes, because sometimes I won't even feel like I'm drifting off, but I'll see someone walk by and I'll be like, oh, is it that time? Okay. I didn't realize I was falling asleep already. And then, you know,
there's no one there.
There's no one there. Yeah. But it's like, you know, what you see is, it's never like anything that looks completely real. Like it's amazing how vivid it can appear. Like there's so many details. And I remember the first couple times that happened to me, just being like, what the fuck? And just not knowing what sleep paralysis was, and just watching the moonlight shine on this person's cheekbones and being like, what the fuck? And then they fade away. But even still, they're like, there's shadows, they're translucent. There's, you know,
so it's a sleep paralysis demon.
Sometimes, yeah. But other times it's objects floating around. It's like shapes, you know, it's just random things all the time, right? So it's like most of the time it's not a negative thing and it's not scary. Even when it's like typically a scary thing. Like I was talking about one time, there was like the typical old hag figure kind of came out of my closet. And Lisette, this is again where she's going to have to stop listening. I don't tell her this because she gets freaked out.
Oh no!
But
stop listening.
She got up to go to the washroom, and so our bed's like this, and the door is there, and the washroom is outside. So she gets up, opens the door, turns the light on out there, and then I see her, the hag, come out of the closet like this, smiling, turn around, and go back in the closet. And I'm sitting up as I would see her go to the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, don't mention this, you know, because it freaks her out, right? It's so funny.
And you're awake, but you're not.
Yeah, like obviously there's a different state of consciousness because I'm either drifting in or out of sleep. But I'm a terrible sleeper, and it takes me like 5 hours to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the reason why. So I think it's like everybody else's normal process is just elongated so much that's why I experience it that way. But it's been fun. You know, I see a lot of crazy things, and it makes for good inspiration for writing.
Oh,
stuff.
for sure.
Yeah.
It sounds terrifying. No, but like, so when you say people enjoy it, what do you mean? Like,
yeah, so there's people that like me, they're not having a negative experience. They're just kind of like, they compare it to like a laser light show. They're just kind of like, all right.
Oh man, this is Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yeah. And like, I
Dark Side of
was
the
reading
Moon.
about like sleep. What do you call the doctors that study sleep? I can't remember, but like I was reading an article written by Joe, who was studying sleep paralysis, and he never experienced it himself, but he studied it for years and years. And then one night he woke up and his body was locked, and he's like, oh, this is it. And so he was like, what's it going to be like? And he was excited for it. And it was just kind of like, you know, he saw random things and it was cool and he enjoyed it. But I think that's part of what it is. It's like, it's your expectation. It's your anticipation of it. It's like what you're already feeling is going to create the experience more, because this is a dream experience you're creating, right? So that's why for me, even when it's something that's kind of scary, it's like I really don't, you know, care. You know, it's like I'm open to paranormal things, and it's like maybe it is a paranormal thing happening. Maybe there are ghosts walking around, but it's like it doesn't really affect my life.
No, and I mean, there's yeah. It's
so
not
whether
gonna,
it's a dream or not, it really doesn't make any difference. I'm just kind of enjoying the show,
and it's not going to hurt you.
Exactly.
Because, and I think this is something that people forget too, especially when it comes to paranormal stuff and like ghosts and stuff. Yeah, okay, it's probably like, in that moment, if you experience something paranormal, yeah, it's probably going to be scary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if ghosts and all that kind of stuff, if they could hurt us,
yeah,
and like do stuff to us that's like super negative, they would have done it already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we would have already experienced that. And like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, so it's like, yeah, okay. Like you don't need to be like someone that's like so terrified of it. Like it's, I mean, I don't want to like challenge somebody's, you know, fears or whatever, but really it's like, yeah, if it was going to hurt you, it would have like hurt you already.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the kind of the thing that's kind of comforting is like, you know, everyone who's seen a ghost, like all these paranormal experiences, mostly nothing bad has ever happened, you know? So it's like, you can kind of, there's something there that's like, you're pretty much safe, except if it's a UFO. If you see a UFO, don't go underneath it.
Run.
Because there are several documented cases of radiation poisoning. So, but that doesn't mean it's aliens. It could be the government fucking you up. Who knows? But yeah, so just keep a safe
Or
distance
Elon
from
Musk.
UFOs, kids. Yeah.
yeah.
And I actually saw Starlink last night.
Yeah, I saw photos of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so, I'm still not used to the sky of the future.
What is it?
You know?
Somebody was saying on the, somebody commented on the CM Calgary post that they've got like a crazy amount of fucking satellites already in the sky.
Yeah.
But their plan is to have like 42,000 by a certain like date or whatever.
It's weird.
42,000 satellites.
I remember like in
how
the
the fuck
90s,
are we ever gonna go to space? We're like
like
dodging
not hitting
satellite.
everything.
Yeah, like fuck that.
It's so weird. I saw a video where it goes through the timeline, so it shows the year and it goes forward, and you can see boop boop. Like
satellites.
yeah, like so
Okay.
starting with like Sputnik, I think was the first, right?
I want to see
and then
this
it's like
video.
boop, 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 boop. And then like surprisingly early, it's looking cluttered as fuck. Like in like the late 90s, it's looking just like garbage island. And then now it's just like so weird to look at.
Really? There's
Yeah.
that many satellites?
There's so many. There's so much more than I ever would have guessed. Like
It's funny how that. Well, it's kind of funny that you say that because when we watch, because it's not depicted like that in movies.
Yeah.
When we watch a movie, when they go to space or whatever, it's just like
everything's empty.
everything's empty, and
Yeah.
then you have like maybe the one satellite that goes by.
Yeah.
But there's
yeah.
probably like now that you say it, there's probably fucking thousands.
Yeah, so like to put it in perspective, like it's not as like the video Earth is like that big, and then it's like this massive sphere of satellites that are just like there's so many that it's like it's cluttered, right? But of course, when you go down the scale, it's like there's massive, huge amounts of spacing between everything, so it doesn't feel that way. But it's like you'd be surprised, like if you can find the video. It will shock you to see just how
I want to look
messy
at
our room is already.
Yeah, no shit. And they keep making it worse.
Yeah.
Like I said, like Elon Musk wants to put 42,000, which kind of, I mean, for his Starlink thing, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because then he can give internet to everybody all over the world. But yeah, fuck. It's that I never in a million years would have even I would have thought like, oh yeah, that one satellite is doing giving everybody the communication. Oh fuck it, that makes so much sense that that's not just one.
Yeah.
That it's like thousands and all different countries too.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And
it's
it's
the sky of the future, man.
Well, and it's crazy that like, and they're just like floating there, and it's like, how are they? It's crazy to me that there's like a whole that many out there, and they're literally just like not crashing into each other.
Yeah.
That too.
That's bizarre.
It is bizarre, and it's like, how are you?
The other thing that's weird is like because I'm still not used to it. It's like so I was just like outside, just kind of like in my front yard there, just kind of getting some fresh air before bed. That's what I typically do, And then I kind of look up, and it's just like boom, it's there, and it looks so out of place on the unnatural.
Yeah, because it's like a straight line.
Yeah, and it's like at first you're like, the fuck? Oh yeah, it's Starlink. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
because like a split
it's
second,
and it's not because it's not that far out
No.
of the Earth's atmosphere. It's pretty
yeah,
close.
they're bright. So it just looks like a very bright, long string of very bright stars.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw it, I ran inside to get Lisette, and of course, she's scared of all things paranormal. Just to put it into perspective, early on in our relationship, I think it was like 2 p.m, like full daylight, and I turned to her and I was like, "So, do you believe in reincarnation?" She's like, "I don't want to talk about this." I was like, "Reincarnation is the least scary paranormal subject because it's like, yeah, you die, but you come back, right?"
That's adorable.
So to put that in
I don't wanna
perspective,
talk about it.
so I ran in to go get her. I'm like, "Come see," and then I stopped at the door. I'm like, "This is Starlink. This is Elon Musk." And she's like, "Okay." I'm like, "Now go look." And she's like, "Oh, thank God you told me," because it looks so bizarre.
She would have thought it was aliens.
Yeah, she'd be like, they're coming. Ran
Oh
inside.
God, it's Independence Day.
Where's Jeff Goldblum?
Bill Paxton. No, not Bill Pullman.
Bill.
Not Bill Paxton. Bill
Paxton
Pullman.
and
Bill
Pullman.
Paxton's dead. Bill Pullman is still alive.
There we go.
Thank you so much for coming and doing the show.
Thanks for
and
having me, man.
Telling me all about your new song and all the paranormal shit you got going on. Thank you. You brought me comic books too. I gotta read Spetembryo. What are they in all of the local Sunrise record stores?
Yeah, Sunrise Records carries them.
Yeah, they have the CDs and comic books.
Yeah. Most
Spetembryo.
local comic shops carry them.
I know that Cross Iron Mills has it right by their till. It's like local
Yeah.
artists or whatever.
Yeah, if you go into a shop and they don't have them, you just be
Request
like,
it.
Yeah, request it, and they'll call me and we'll fill it up.
Yeah. No, but go find Septembryo's comics, find his music, follow him on, what is your Instagram?
Spetembryo, at Spetembryo.
At Septembryo.
So Septembryo is not a word, so wherever you look, you'll find me, and you might find one group of moms that all had like in vitro fertilization, so their embryos were in September. Besides those moms, I'm not in that group, but besides that group of moms, it's all me.
I'm trying so hard not to laugh because that's really.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is it like at Spetembryo _?
No. Like, I don't know. I think this is like predates Instagram and all that. Like, I just remember long time ago Googling Spetembryo just to see like if I could use the name.
Yeah.
And that's all I found.
Oh, okay. So don't worry about them.
Yeah.
Just find Michael on all the places, you know, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, etc. Go listen to his music. Go October 7th, go listen to the new song VHS Violent Horror Story. The song will be at the end of this episode, right after we're done talking. So stay tuned for that. Thank you again so much for coming.
Thank you again.
And enjoy the Halloween series.
You too.
I really, well, yeah.
Again.
Yeah, I'm going to watch them all again soon. But yeah, let me know. I want to know after you finish each movie, you have to message me and be like, this is what I thought. I want an essay.
I will be sharing my thoughts on each one as I go through them for sure.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So for this episode of This Will Never Work, I'm Lincoln.
I'm Michael.
Let's try again tomorrow. Cue the song.
Dark makes hearts beat faster. Jump scares and nervous laughter. Safe and sound inside your home. What's that sound inside your home? This chick picks flicks that thrill her. Your fix of quick slick killers. Safe and sound inside your home. What's that sound inside your home?
You shall die exquisitely.
Alone, I'm watching on the screen. I can't help but wonder who's watching me. These shelves are stocked full with tapes. He smells and stalks you with tape. Be kind, rewind, play and pause. They'll kind fast forwards with short pause. As long as your eyes are fixed on the screen, you'll never ever quite see it coming. As long as your eyes are fixed on the screen. Alone, I'm watching on the screen.
Sometimes the irony of trying to write a theme song for a show called This Will Never Work gets the best of you, and well, it sucks. So, welcome.